Brody, try to stick on him as much as possible, and then you kind of have this Lapu Lapu that's in the middle of no one, trying to find a fight. That being said, they still have a lot of burst damage with the Dominator's Conquest through the Zas, so I still think they have a punch when it comes to team fight.
You know what's interesting? RSG SG, they played against Impunity quite a bit. I'd say quite a bit. They played against Impunity SG in the regular season. Impunity SG was one of the big teams to bring out the Zas. So it seems like RSG SG are learning against their opponents, learning from their opponents rather, and taking a page out of their book. Now you can see members of RSG SG want to push the mid wave out, and Notorious Villains are looking to reply here as we see Cooper jumping onto Cole. Suna should be able to finish off this purple buff without any issue. Gets level 2, flame shot onto Sana. That's a decent poke from Fenrir.
Notorious Villains playing a little bit slow as of now. Yes, they do have the Ruby, but what I mentioned, early game Ruby's not going to be able to do much, but she does want to walk into LY4's jungle, want to try to delay the tick a little bit. Didn't really have the hook, so couldn't really steal the blue buff away or reset it for his meta, but it does go a little bit well for Suna as he's really working on his red buff. Here's the thing about Brody. Brody just scales so much slower compared to Roger. Roger clears jungle camps a bit quicker, and Roger just makes life so much easier when he hits this level 4. That's when he gets his Oof transformation, and he can pretty much just go in for the Q.
We have a slow start here in terms of gold. Notorious Villains are up just from purely playing PvE, right? No fighting, just farming. They're slightly ahead. You can see the focus down onto Jason. He's forced away. Fenrir makes the rotation and they want to push out this bot wave first. Meanwhile, LY4 on the top side, he's onto Dara, who's forced to flicker away. He has to be careful because Fossa is here as well, and so is Sana. It's the whole goon squad. RSG are chasing down onto Dara. They will force him out and get some pressure on the top tier 1. While the turtle spawns, so Notorious Villains, they will have to find some sort of answer here.
You can see RSG just focusing so much on the Zas because they know once he gets to level 4, when the Dominator's Descent comes into play, that's when RSG at its biggest threat. And here we go, Jason, nearly getting with the Bravest Warrior, but will miss on a bit of damage. Fenrir will manage to fly away with the Wings by Wings, but this is going to give RSG so much space on the turtle.
Call has been made. RSG SG are starting up this turtle. I say starting, they're almost done and almost about to finish this. It's going to be taken away by RSG SG now, the focus. And it's going to be Dara. He has to flee through the mid lane, but no joy there. Ember Steezy popping his out, trying his best to stay alive. Will leap away with the Blood Ode. RSG SG, they get one, they get the turtle, and they get out.
RSG making most of this early game, and now you gotta say, this is a bit of a cause for concern for Notorious Villains because they want to be the one that's being aggressive. They have the heroes that's going to be running at RSG members, whereas RSG, they need time for this Brody to skill, they need time for this Lapu Lapu to build up onto Bloodlust X, they also need time for this Zas to get his items in.
Oh well, the airstrike has been cast. Fenrir is probably gonna die here. Not sure if they can find any revenge as Sana is very low. Eventually does make it under his turret for a bit more safety. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. Make that a 3-on-1 trade. Hold on.
Yep. A little bit of a small mechanic play, but Suna coming in for the back, wants to get the kill. Oh, he might be caught out of position. And now all 4 members jumping right on top of that Roger. And this is what we talked about.
RSG.
Oh my goodness, the greediness coming out from Suna.
It's a bit hard to see, but I think there was pure greed coming out. That was not the play. In fact, they were unable to really convert. Notorious Villains, they almost got Sana, but they just lost 3 in the process. It's so hard to see as now they jump back in. RSG, here's your feather airstrike, but they're grouping up still. 2 kills on the board for Notorious Villains and another for RSG.
Yeah, RSG trying to force the issue onto the top lane there, immediately dropping the Nightmaric Spawn, forcing out on Disaster Ultimate as well, trying to pick the first tier turret. Well, let's take a look at the replay, shall we? Fenrir getting caught out of position, Feathered Airstrike in a good spot, but not enough damage, instantly bursts out of Full Koopa, the hook comes in, and I think Sana over here, a little bit lucky to survive, but you do get extra armor when you're underneath your tier 1 turret.
I was like, this guy is surely dead. There's no way he's getting out, right? And somehow he manages to survive, especially with Suna coming in and everyone turns around. It's like, hey, there's a wolf in our backline. Let's kill him off.
Yeah, easy pick up there coming in, and obviously we see why Rafaela is such a meta pick right now. Not only in MPL SG but across the region. They're wholly killing just a little bit too much sometimes.
Yeah, it is quite frustrating to deal with as the second turtle will spawn right now. RSG on this play. They're looking to pull it away. Here comes your feather airstrike. Not very low on health just yet as RSG as they group up A bit of lag coming through, but Turtle is going to be taken by Notorious Villains, and now they're looking to turn around and fight. The Roger is going to go down first. Kolya very low on health in the backline. Will be able to survive somehow. No, he eventually dies. 3 kills for RSG SG, and they lose 2 of their own. It's a kill advantage, but Notorious Villains, they managed to pick up the Turtle.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty much even fight there, right? Because you get the turtle, you get extra gold and EXP for every single member, but you do give away 3 kills, Suna being one of them. So I would say it's a piece of pie for both sides. But RSG putting a lot of pressure on the top lane. They try to catch out the Farsa. Oh, it's a bad spot for Farsa, but he does get out in the blink of time. They came for what they got, or rather they got what they came for, and they managed to pick up the tier 1 turret onto the top lane.
It's a goal lead in favor of RSGSG now, about 1,000 or slightly less. Tempo is definitely in their favor though. They're the ones making the first moves, even in that turtle contest. Yes, it got stolen away, but RSGSG still managed to pick up all the kills that they want. We said Embastizi, he's this late game insurance on the Alice. Hopefully he's going to get to that point. They need to stall the game out just a little bit as another fight is going to break out. See ya, Kolya, or should I say, no, he's going to go down eventually as your fatal airstrike comes out. Sana very low on health. Will not be able to get the final hit down, so it's going to be just a quick pickup and a back off from RSG.
Zas and Pinball already working onto his bottom lane. Sing constantly pushing. Yeah, he's like, once you start pushing the turrets, you can't stop there.
He's going to walk into Dara, but LI4 and Sana are here to back him up. Sing, he is completely fine. He's going to immediately pop the ultimate and just jump right into it. Kolya jumping in, doesn't really want to continue the fight. In fact, has to back on out. RSGSG, they kill Kolya. Sana is going to go down here, but they still manage to keep the pressure on. Bit of lag coming through, but a 1-for-1 trade nevertheless.
I love this Zaz pick so much. You look at Notorious Villains lineup, and yes, they do have a bit of tankiness in Kolya. They do have a little bit of sustain coming into the Alice, but none of them can really touch the Zaz when he drops his ultimate, and that's the issue with Notorious Villains right now. They're struggling to pick off Sing because every single time he's caught out of position, he just pops the ultimate, the rest of RSG jumps right onto the Ruby and instantly deletes Kolya. And I think that's a big problem that Notorious Villain can't exactly solve because the draft's already settled, but they will have to work around it.
I think this Ruby pick might have gone past its expiration date. The value of your Ruby from Kolya is just not there in these fights, right? The moment, like you said, Sing pops out, Kolya he has to run away. There's nothing left in the fight for him. Turtle again is going to be contested. Notorious Villains are the ones pulling it to their side. You can see that RSGSG are grouping up. They're looking for a bit of poke. Jason is the one leading the charge. There's the ultimate available if he wants to use it, but no. Envy are just going to reset this one out. Envy with the fatal airstrike finds nothing here. As Kolya has to run away again, he's going to get caught out. Chris and I were joking, Kolya sometimes has to tactically feed for his carries to come online, but this is not what it's looking like. RSGSG now with the play onto the Turtle should be able to secure this because you can see Notorious Villains, they just back out.
Not a very pretty sight for Notorious Villains. They burned the feather airstrike a little bit too early, even before the turtle fight itself. You got Sing, has his ultimate. Pretty much everyone's online for RSG, right? Shattered Memories available for LY4 as well. So I think Notorious Villains, they have a slight grip of, they know they need to delete the Zaz. The question is, how are they going to do it?
Yeah, because, how is the big question.
Yeah, because Kolya, you risk building into magical defense and then getting shredded by LY4. You build too much physical, you get shredded by Sing. So you're caught in between.
Airstrike comes out to clear the way. Sing is just gonna leave.
Look at Kolya! Yeah. Look at
that burst, right? He climbs in and just controls the area, and then once his team backs off, he backs off with them. Jumping in though, look at the damage from Dara, actually decent onto LY4. He's still focusing him down by the backline. Fenrir, where's the protection? He needs help. He's not gonna get it though, as bit of a freeze coming in, but eventually he will be able to get out. Forza overcommits, and now they get a kill. RSG gonna have to back off with their tail between their legs as Forza goes down. Sink is gonna be focused down as well from Dara here. His team is here to back him up, so there is reinforcements. Dara has to back away. Kolya, again, so squishy, so dead.
Yeah, absolutely no protection or no follow-up whatsoever coming from the Notorious Villains, constantly playing catch-up in these team fights, but they're still marching on despite this being a 4v5. They know that Popo and Koopa is kind of gone back to heal. Forza going to rejoin his teammates in the mid, but look at Sing constantly split pushing. This Zaz is starting to become, no, not starting, it is
already
problem.
there. Yep,
and he's going to be ramping up even more when that Clock of Destiny starts to hit his cap.
Look at him, he's just CJ, he doesn't care. Even if MSTZ jumps up, the rest of RSG are here. MSTZ, you don't want to take this fight. He's one man beyond the enemy lines, and MSTZ, he's not going to have to use the Blood Oath to get out. Kolya comes in for reinforcements, but it's a sunk cost fallacy. There's no reason for you to come in, he goes down instantly, and Dara, though, with the damage, actually kills off Jason. This could be a winnable fight. The tier 2 is still alive. Notorious Villains, they're grouping up. Now they manage to slow down RY4. They're chasing on the Blood Orb out again, and they manage to get the damage, and they get the marksman. Notorious Villains, from the depths of despair, they get 2 important kills onto RSG.
RY4 playing a little bit greedy there, you know, overstayed his Worldcom. The hook comes in for Kolya, catches him out of position, and from then on, I think we all knew that was a dead Brody. But look at this, Sana catching Fairy out of position once again, and this is not good for Notorious Villains. They're no longer that confident to take Lord.
They don't have the damage, they might not be able to do this. In fact, it's just leashing over to RSG, who's going to be pulling it to their side. A big team fight looking like it's going to erupt here as MSTZ is in the backline. He's on Forza, he's on multiple members. Look at the damage, look at the blood. Oh my god, Forza manages to get out, and he's still doing damage. Sana now the next target they need to chase down. No one is able to deal with the healing from MSTZ, but he's out of mana. Eventually though, they managed to get the kill. Multiple members of Notorious Villains knocked down. The Lord is still healthy. MSTZ looking like he wants to come back into this fight. Dara still holding strong as this Paquito, but it's too little too late. RSG, they pick up the Lord.
30 seconds. RSG delayed the Lord take for 30 seconds. More than enough time for LY4 to come back up. Yeah. Yes, he was not needed in the fight, but that very important last hit coming up for Forza managed to catch MST out of position, and you know, the bite them Koopa, that range is just insane.
So we look at this, right? Walk me through this, Justin. It's so delayed, such a long skirmish. At some point, RSG just pulled the trigger.
And you look at that, they dive in. Yes, they did manage to get the kill, nearly got the kill to Farsa. They remove both Sing and maybe Sana, but they don't have enough damage to sustain through the rest of the fight. Suna gets caught out, you know, and from then on with LY4 rejoining on the fight, even if Notorious Villains want to close out that, you know, that lot, they need to go through the bulk of the damage that Brody's going to put online.
Bit of starters here and there, but we'll try our best to go push through this as RSG are focusing now on their bot tier 2. Now forced to flicker out is Dara. He does not have that battle spell. Dropping out a bit too early as MSTZ jumps into the backline. He's trying to get the damage done. He's trying to heal up. He's so tanky. He actually has to win his truncheon as well. He's still holding on in the backline. MSTZ ripping them apart. LI4 now is the next target. He's gonna fall. 3 dead on the RSG side. They lose Dara, but at what cost? It's completely fine if MSTZ can get work done.
Yeah, RSG just trying to press the issue a little bit too much for my liking, right? There's no need.
That's very greedy.
Yeah, it wasn't a necessary play coming up from that. You know you have the Lord, you can slowly push in. Yes, I know you want to get momentum on your side, but look at what this has given Notorious Villain. So much space. Oh, they managed to catch Kolya, but Forza, it's a trap, and it is a trap indeed. Fenrir dropping the feathered airstrike right on top of Popo and Koopa. Without the Popo and Koopa, they don't have a frontliner.
This is looking from, it looks like it's going from bad to worse for RSG. They were in control mere moments ago, and now they're behind in terms of gold. I think the Alice is coming online right now, Justin. You have to be very careful about how you're fighting around MSTZ. The burst coming through from Feather Airstrike is just really ripping RSG apart too. So you could see how these fights begin, right? Alice jumps the backline, keeps them in place, pops the Blood Oath, and then that is Fenrir's cue to go. Just Feather Airstrike and drop it on the backline.
We're looking for an answer, right? We're trying to find a solution to Sing's Zaz, and this is it. The Winter Truncheon coming up from MSTZ. Just jump in, you know, pop your ultimate, pop the Winter Truncheon, no one can touch you, and now RSG is forced to abandon the Zaz. Do I leave Sing to die, or do I join into the fight and risk getting, you know, completely bursted apart by MSTZ?
Dara is beyond enemy lines here. He's creating space though. Meanwhile on the top side, Notorious Villains, they are 3 men strong. Make that 4 as MSTZ joins in. He's cutting the mid wave too. Everyone for RSG has to back off. They're looking to defend here, Jazaz. Oh, but the top inhibitor is already dead, and there's nothing left for them here but to defend. RSG coming back in. Look at the damage on the back line. He might just be able to finish him off the way the Chunchuk team decides to sink alive, but no, it's too much damage, and Ambasteezy still going wild. Eventually will die though. Notorious Villains now have to back out as RSG they look to counterplay.
Oh, the
Brody's here. Look at the damage. LY4 on the back line. He's already gotten one. He's going even more. It's going to be a triple for LY4. He's coming back in the marksman and he's making his presence felt in this first game.
Yeah, Brody's damage is just completely insane here. The torn apart memory to just take 3 members out of the picture. And just like that, I'm just so afraid, Hungry Cars, that this might be GG. Yes, Dara's come online, but you're talking about Paquito. He's not Lapu Lapu. He doesn't really have much sustain, but he's trying his best to push that back. But they're just going to burst him down in a blink of an eye. And this pretty much is game 1 settled.
RSG, they are going to finish this one off. LY4 comes back huge in their final fight. They make the macro play. Envy it was very ambitious. They had to do it. They had to force that cross map play.
Baxia, and you have a Barat as well. You know,
this is big value.
Yeah, it's perfect. And not only that, they also have a Rafaela. So what happens is that when LY4 goes in for the killing bro and all these tanks, I think that's where Sana will play a really huge part because he's going to be the key factor to keep this carry alive.
Agreed. And he's going to need a lot of support fire coming in too. That is where your Chang'e is going to be showering the enemy meteors from the back line. You could also, if you overextend, if you don't take the potion, that jaw hit is a get out of jail free card, right? You can eject her to carry once she overextends a little too much. So I do like what's coming in from RSG so far. Notorious Villains, remember, I'm just talking about this because I had my vote on them, 2-1. That's right, Teddy. I believed in you guys. So Notorious Villains, they're still not out of this one just yet.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to Notorious Villains. I think they have a slightly better drop in some sense early game, that is, until RSG do pick up the items on LY4. And here we go, Forza being the disturbing jaw hit, trying to delay it, but Kolya, ever the visor, just gonna stick on top of the red buff, take a little bit of damage so that the jaw hit has no choice but to toss the hero.
LY4 now hitting level 2. Now Carrie doesn't have the best clear in terms of early game farm speed. She's doing decently well. Is getting guarded by 2 members of RSG. You can see Rafaela, Jawhead just tag teaming up. Fossa and Sana making sure LY4 has a decent start.
Yeah, interesting choice though. Carrie not starting on the jungle immediately, going to the level to the first lane to get some levels. And I think this is why because they don't really want to invade. They don't want to commit to getting their jungle invaded. So they focus on the first lane.
Forcing the flicker out of Ambasteezy. It was a good ejector from Fossa, and then he had to use the Flowing Blood plus the flicker to get out of danger. Now they know there is a moment of weakness on the Alice. Ambasteezy has to be a lot more careful. In fact, so careful that Notorious Villains send Kolya and Suna up to the top side.
Yeah, surprising though, all 8 members on the side of both teams getting flickers across the board. No purifiers coming through. So yeah, some of these heroes might be in a bit of trouble, especially when the Joy comes in.
Agreed. The unstoppable force is going to be an issue. Whether Foster can find it is a question to be asked. After the fact, as we saw Jason, like you said, he brought flicker, he used the flicker. So now another window of weakness. When it comes to Fenrir going back into the mid side, they're prepping the wave because they know that this turtle has spawned. LY4 is already starting this up. Notorious Villains though, they look like they want to contest. Meteor Shower being committed by Jason to finish this one off very quickly, and they will be able to do so. That burst damage, man, you cannot underestimate it. RSG, they pick up the first objective without a fight.
RS Villains over here now, slightly lagging behind in terms of pace, despite having the Bruno, who should be scaling way quicker than the carry, but only a little bit under fire at the bottom side. Will have to try to get in trouble. I think RSG, they won't be too greedy. They learned from the mistakes in the previous game. Just gonna push out the lane and get a bit of control for the carry.
Consider this, in our pre-game or prior to game 1, we were saying how LY4 and Suna is going to be the matchup to watch out for. Hold on, Dara here getting caught out on the bottom side. Should be able to get out, especially with Kolya jumping in on the Baxia. And it should force RSG away. Now, we were saying these marksmen, these hypers are the ones to watch out for. I'm never going to finish my point. Ambasteezy is just going to get caught out here, uses the flicker to get out, immediately dies though as the rest of RSG commit. Here's your dual manipulation, so they get a 1-for-1 trade. Jason is in past enemy lines. Will be to take trying to possibly jump out. Nope, Kolya stops him in his tracks. That is a double kill for Suna. And yeah, well, he made some mistakes in the first game, Suna. My finishing point was that LY4 is actually stepping up big too.
Yeah, I was holding my breath. I was holding my breath. I was like,
I'll stop my point, they fight again.
I think a team fight is going to happen again. Well, it does happen right now. Forza using the ejector, trying to bring Kolya behind enemies' lines. And I don't think they're going to force the issue here in the 1v3 situation, but Notorious Villains looking to try to put some pressure on top lane. Here comes a meteor shower from Jason. Oh, they managed to find Anesthesia as well. Does have the flicker, doesn't really need to use it. Uses the flowing blood to get out of trouble, but here comes Fenrir. Oh, LY4 nearly caught out there, but Forza quick to gut onto the carry. But bot lane though, while Attention was dragged up to the top, we got Sink and Sana fighting a Q onto Dara on this Barats.
Stuff coming through, and V ever as bloodthirsty, ever as eager to skirmish. They are behind in terms of gold. It's about 1,000 or slightly less for RSG. SG turtle spawning again. We saw how quickly LY4 shredded the objective earlier, especially with the support of Jason's meteor shower. They're setting up again this time. They could finish it before Notorious Villains come to contest. They're not in position to do so, and I believe they're just going to give this one up. Now the cross-map play is being made. Embassy, he's starting to scale up on the top side. He's getting the farm in. We saw what a monster he was in Game 1. Whether he can replicate that in Game 2 is going to be super important for Notorious Villains.
The thing about being an ads player is it's gotta be very basic, but meanwhile, middle lane, Tortoise Poisons coming in. The lifesteal might not be enough. Jason a little bit of trouble, caught by the worst manipulation, but will get out in the nick of time. And this is the thing about being EF, not being very mobile, but bot lane talking about mobile. Look at the birds coming in. Forza with the toss, they find the Bruno as well as the Barras that goes down is second time in a row. RSG making plays all across the map.
Not gonna lie, that one hurts, Justin. They find the carry, right? So they find Suna, and that's the worst thing because now he's not farming, and all the while this LY4 marksman that's supposed to be scaling is scaling. He's getting the turrets, he's getting the farm, he's getting to a power point much quicker than the Bruno, which is traditionally, you get there earlier. It's starting to go from bad to worse on Notorious Villains. They need to find an answer quick, and they need to find it now before it gets out of hand.
And we're now moving on to the mid lane. Kolya gonna use the shield unity a little bit too early, in my opinion, but doesn't matter. RSG not really looking for a fight now. Now, Envy looking around. RSG setting up the play. They know that it's 40 more seconds before the turtle comes up, and this is going to be a huge turtle. Because look at the net worth. RSG already starting to pull ahead.
Quite insane here, Notorious Villains. They need to find a window, a space, maybe put pressure on the side lanes, use your mobility from the Alice and the Baxia to catch someone out. Don't know if they have the damage, but they do have the initiative. And speaking of initiative, Fossa is going to start things up with the ejector onto Kolya and immediately runs away. He's completely fine doing that, but Kolya, he's angry, he's a little pissed. He's going to chase down onto Fossa. A bit of supportal combat. Everyone's just backing off. An unstoppable force though might have something else to say. Another good ejector in, and Kolya, he has to flicker out, but meanwhile the Chang'e is dead. It's a 1-4 trade. No, Kolya eventually goes down, and now the fight continuing. Real manipulation keeps Sada very low, and Bastizi now damaging him down, eventually getting the execution. Dara now under fire, has to back off. And Bastizi still jumping back in sync. The damage onto Sync now. Oh my goodness, and Bastizi, he's coming online. He is 0, 1, and 3, but he's doing the damage.
Yeah, the thing about being an Alice player is there is always that late game waiting for you around the corner. Doesn't really matter if you're pressured in the early game, as long as you get those items up, you get the 50 stacks, you get the extra movement speed, extra cooldown. That's when Alice starts to pop off.
Walk me through this, Justin, because Kolya is like, he's gonna die at any moment here, right? But RSG overextend?
Yeah, I think he got a little bit too far from his teammate, but what RSG kind of lacked was the vision on the Eve. The Eve popped on the backside, they caught out the Chang'e, and without Chang'e, you're lacking that mid-game scaling that you've been counting on this Chang'e to put out. And with that, Embassy immediately goes in. There is no front line, there is no one that's tanky enough to really burst that Alice down.
Even though Suna got caught in the game earlier, 4, 1, and 3, he's the beneficiary of all those kills from Embassy. He's setting up his hyper to succeed. Gold now still in favor of RSG. No surprise, but it's a small margin compared to what it was a minute and a half ago. 70 seconds on the next objective. RSG setting up towards the top side. The only member left towards the bot half is Sync. He's just pushing in. Notorious Villains identify this. They want to kill off the Paquito.
I think the Notorious Villains, they're doing a very good job of, kind of zoning Sync away, but it's only a tier 1. Meanwhile, RSG getting a more valuable trade in the middle. Not only do they pick up Ambastizi, they most likely will pick up the turret, but Kolya has something to say about it. Fenrir will join as well, world manipulation, and looks like RSG is like, no, I don't want any of that. The moment Eve drops the ultimate, we bounce. Get the heck out of there.
At least they saved the mid-tier 1. That is like the best thing possible right now, because the map is still small for them. They don't have to worry about getting pushed in. Sure, you lose Embassy, but he's always going to carry on scaling. He doesn't have time to take up the blood orbs when he's dead. Good ejector in. Kolya is getting focus fire. Here comes Singh. Forza has to flicker out. Middle of the fight though. Here's your damage. Kolya now having to run away, and Dara eats him up, gobbles him up, but is it enough? As Dara has to get out now and an ejector again. This is a man on a mission. Forza will not be denied. He finds all the priority targets. It's Kolya, it's Dara, and now they can move over to this nice big objective.
The main issue here for Notorious Villains is that they don't have Purify. Remember, we talked about that as well.
Everyone's got Flicker. Who's the Purify on?
But that doesn't matter because you know Unstoppable Force has such a huge range. You flicker away, I'm going to flicker right after you, chase you down Unstoppable Force, bring you back to where you were, and we'll just pop you off.
They get another Dragon RSG. Not sure if you noticed, but LY4 picked up the Golden Staff. The Tsing Kupang is already ready. He's ready to go in and fight. Got the damage done.
That is where the scaling of RSG will start to begin, but they know they are on a bit of a timer as well. Notorious Villains, the heroes will only become stronger. Alice will get more stacks sooner. It's going to probably complete his endless battle as well. That's where bulk of the damage will come in through the pure damage. So RSG, they need to be aware of that.
I'm curious if at any point LF4 is just going to overscale and like deal with the Alice and Barats, because it seems like a very viable option for RSG, you know. As long as they can keep LY4 protected, as long as he's safe, he's always going to be doing decent damage against these tanks. Speaking of decent damage, Kolya is just immediately deleted off. And Bastizi fancies a fight. He's going to jump in the middle of 3, but the Meteor Shower deletes him too. Oh no, Notorious Villains, what are you doing? They're overextending now. Sik is coming in. He's got the punch, he's got the damage, and he knocks Suna out. That is 3 members of Notorious Villains dead, and this is a huge issue for them if they want to defend against RSGSG.
Yeah, if Forza wanted to play a little bit greedily, he could have just injected Dara into the backline as well, removed the Barat. That's like, what, a good 20 seconds without any of the heroes that can stop them. Yes, you do have Fenrir, but you know, it's an Eve, doesn't really have word manipulation as well. They could have just gone for more, but nevertheless, RSG taking the safer route, pushing on to tier 2, they will secure that. And I think it's time that we really address the issue of Notorious Villains making a lot of these careless mistakes.
At this level of play, in the be-all, end-all stage of playoffs, you're not allowed to make these mistakes. One small mistake, you think RSG is going to punish you? Of course they will. And they're definitely looking to have you eliminated from the running in playoffs. Now, Villains, they're posturing around this bot tier 2. The only vestige of hope left outside of their base. They need to defend this, they need to defend this quick. Coming around this area, look at Forza, he missed the ejector, that's a big problem, and now maybe they can turn on him. Here's a real manipulation coming in, Forza managing to get out, but Embastizi's already so low. They get Sana first, and that's a good pickoff. Now they can regroup, but can they get anything else is the question.
Oh, the basic attack!
Picked off by the light wheel. Oh, in the end, a 1-for-1 trade. RSG, there ain't no running from the carry.
Yeah, just a little bit stroke of unfortunate luck there. The last hit from LY4 just tracking him all the way back, and despite him using the Unity Shield, he just got picked off there. But not really the biggest of loss, but RSG now looking to start the lot, or it could be a bit, or are
Look
they?
at the burst!
Oh, Singh coming in from the side, takes a double kill. The Meteor Shower with the full off as well, and there's Dara gone.
Oh,
and it's all down to Embastizi as well as Kolya. What can they do here? I don't think they can contest the lot here.
RSGSG, they make a statement. Welcome back to MPL Playoff Sync, because he is making the plays. He is putting RSGSG on his back. This is Lord. All but guaranteed here for LY4 to pick up, and now they're running down mid. Now they're looking for Embastizi. Can he really do anything? The answer is a flat out no, as Meteor Shower picks him off. Jason gets that kill, and now the Lord comes up into mid lane. They're just base tanking this. The Unstoppable Force. Forza maybe a bit too deep, buddy. I think he's gonna go down to the real manipulation. It seems like RSGSG are having a little bit of fun with this one. Forza had no reason to be that far up, but with the Lord running down mid, RSGSG can push.
Yeah, a little bit of a misplay there. This could have been the game-winning push, but they still can try to get something out of this lot. They might be able to get this tier 3, the Meteor Shower cover. So once again, Fenrir, despite being all the way at the back, gets ripped to pieces by the stars. And now the Lord will secure the tier 3 in the middle. RSG not really wanting to stop for more. 25 seconds without the Eve. Gets the tier 2 onto the bottom. They might even be able to pick up a tier 3 at bottom lane as well.
LY4 is massive. I think they should be able to pick this one up. Look at the attack speed. The bot inhibitor instantly goes down to it. The Ballista just running in. They have to deal with this one first. Bot mid open, top is the last defense, the last structure that Notorious Villains have to defend here. Embastizi trying to cut the wave. I don't think you want to be there, buddy. Everyone for RSG is just tunneling onto him. He's just the flicker. He's trying to do his best to get out, and he's trying to heal up, and now he's backing off, but unsuccessfully getting picked off by the Rapella. That is a 4 and 5 now. RSG all they have to do Dot the I's, cross the T's, walk it in, finish the core, move to lower bracket finals. Can they do it is the question. Notorious Villains looking to defend still. Collier rolling, trying to find a target, but unable to do so. Big ejector in. Fenrir, he's gonna die here. Oh my god, what a setup from RSG. They're looking to clean this one out. Dara, the next target, immediately goes down. He manages to get back to the core, but it's too little, too late. RSG, they're looking for the 2-0. They want to knock Notorious Villains out, and they are going to the lower bracket finals against Kingsman.
Ask me any time of the day before this week if RSG could have gotten the 2 over MV. No way.